Hi guys, Sifu Lee. Today we're going to look at the first wooden dummy set in some detail. So I'm going to break down the movements. I've got two dummies set up here. This one is quite square onto me here, 90 degrees to the screen. This one's slightly angled, and this is just to give you a perspective of the movement so I can clearly demonstrate what's going on there. All right, so later on there'll be a video where I'll string all these movements together and all the sets and speed those up and do that at some real-time speed. But this is obviously an education video. This is for you to learn the sets, and hence there's no point in me going fast with it. Okay, I guess what's important is the first dummy set. That's the beginning of the dummy form. Okay, there's a video that I've put on YouTube in regard to the 108 wooden dummy movements and all that information. That's always a topic of conjecture due to the how many dummy sets and what the movements mean. That video will clearly demonstrate what that's about. But the sets essentially, we've got a base 13 that we work with, and they're broken down into approximately 10 movements. Okay, so approximately you can give or take a movement here or there, or class a fast flowing movement as one. Again, that's not really relevant. Let's break down the movements and understand what we're playing with. Okay, so starting off with the dummy, the first movement that we're going to move in on the dummy is the Wing Chun entry technique, quite unique, and it's designed to cover the equivalent of 3 half steps in one movement. It's an offensive movement and it's quite difficult, and it's appropriately placed at the beginning of the wooden dummy sets. When we start, we want to be far away, so I'm not within a half stepping movement. I'm starting off in a left side neutral with my guard directly into the centre of the dummy. From here, I switch, okay, lining up on the outside of this arm here in right side neutral, and then I'm switching back over into a left side neutral, lining up as if I was going to go blind side on this side of the dummy. From here, entry technique, okay, coming in, touching with a bill sow. Hyun sow as I come round, double larp sow, puck sow and a high palm. I come over the top with a hyun sow, a low palm and a simultaneous stomp kick to the knee. A splitting block, bon sow, tan sow and a low palm strike. From here, as I hyun gurk, splitting block, rolling, high palm strike and an arm break. Okay, moving over to the other dummy straight away from here, and we'll go from there. Again, side neutral in the centre of the dummy. I'm switching, right side neutral, then left side neutral. From here, entry technique, bill sow touching, hyun sow, double larp sow. Okay, this is reaching around the back. Puck sow, palm strike, hyun sow, low palm and stomp kick, splitting block, bon sow, tan sow, low palm strike, splitting block, roll, palm strike and arm break to finish, okay? And from there, using your traditional footwork to come back out and re-centre yourself in front of the dummy. All right, so let's break that down a little bit more detail. Some key points. Everything in this system, when we're doing it, when we're blocking and punching, with some exceptions, and we'll get to that, are either on the centre line or the central line, which we've got 2 of. So 1 centre, 2 central lines. That's very important. The dummy is a mathematical protractor designed to help you get these things right, okay? So by keeping these blocks and strikes on those appropriate lines, then when we move on to using it on a real person, the lines are precise enough to make sure that you're not missing and that it's doing what it's meant to be doing, okay? The dummy is awesome in the sense that you can repetitively go over and over and over and over and over to get that technique right. That's the idea. Again, if you get it wrong, you're doing it wrong, then you'd be training it wrong. But the point is to be training this correctly, and the dummy's there to assist you in doing that. The conditioning is a byproduct, okay, that comes part of it. And again, later on, we'll hit the dummy hard, that's fine. But at the beginning, that's not the main purpose of it. We're learning to move around it correctly. Okay, you'll notice here, these are wide space arm dummies. This is quite important to note, particularly with this lineage and the footwork that we're using. Okay, so again, from the side neutral, I switch. Entry technique, a high knee, so that's covering this gate, okay? So that could be a kick or a punch coming in. I make contact. As I hyun sow with this lead hand, I step down to the outside, double larp sow, grabbing the furthest arm. Puck sow, palm strike to the head. I then come over the top, hyun sow, stepping over, turning my centre in. So this is on the centre, that is on the central line, and that is also on the centre. splitting block on the centre line, bond sow on the centre. The bond sticks and turns to a tan sow on the centre line as I step over, a low palm strike, splitting block as I Hyungurk to come out. I then roll with a lan and a high garn sow, stepping with the right leg in front for the palm strike with a jut sow, and arm break to finish. Again, I'm just walking away from that one, coming over to this one, down the centre of the dummy, stepping over, entry technique, Hyun sow double larp sow. Again, note that furthest arm, puck sow high palm strike. I come over with a Hyun sow, a low palm and a stomp. Okay, all of those together. Splitting block on the centre line, bond sow on the centre, tan and a palm strike, splitting block, roll, palm strike, and arm break to finish. Okay, all right, so that's breaking that down, looking at those movements again on the centre. Some things to note, the arm break, okay, with the two high hands in the position, and stepping forward with the right leg as we're coming into strike. So let's just break that down one more time. So from our side neutral stance, and you'll get to learn how far you can travel. That's the idea of training the entry technique from this beginning. Switch, switch, so enter, double larp sow, puck sow palm, Hyun sow and stomp, splitting block, bond sow, tan and low palm, splitting block, roll, palm strike, arm break, okay? Again, using that traditional footwork as you come out to recenter yourself for the next dummy set. Just stepping over to this one. So I'm switching, entry technique, keep that knee up. So this is up until I make contact. Once I've made contact and I'm going to step down, I circle around, double larp sow, reaching high around the back, a thumbless larp sow, so don't grab with the thumb. I cover, so the strike is on the central line, okay? That's important, as are most of our strikes. Hyun sow, it's a soft movement. Think of the fook sow, the silam tau form, a palm strike on your central line, and a stomp kick to the top of the knee with the heel on your centre. There's a little Hyungurk here, okay? Circling leg, stepping down as I do the splitting block. Bond sow, again on the centre. My centre line's facing out. It's not relevant to what's going on here. I step over to side neutral, turning my heel out as my tan is on the centre and strike on the central line. From there, splitting block, I roll. So this is a high garn and a lan sow. I could also use a Hyun this way with the elbow down, but we're using that high garn position. We'll talk about that later. I do a jut sow with this hand as I step with the right leg. It's important that my foot is on the outside, okay, on one side, and my knee trails across to the other side, not with my knee on the same side as my foot. That's letting my shin protect my centre. That's very important when we look at a cross stance. Okay, so I've effectively stepped into a front stance as I jut sow and palm strike. This hand slides down, okay, as I step over with my left leg into a front stance, if you will. I'm circling through to pick the arm up and the arm break from there. Again, we're assuming that we're on the blind side. We are on the outside, okay? So I don't have an arm to break here. I can't break anything. I can't even capture it. I need to circle down and into the inside to pick that arm up, okay? Each dummy set is ended with an arm break. Again, this is just for the ease of learning, and I'll get into those arm breaks and manipulations and locks later on. But that's the first wooden dummy set, okay? I'll just mark that in the air for you. There is another video in the air. So from a side neutral, I switch, I'm switching. Entry technique, Hyun sow double larp sow, puck sow palm strike, Hyun sow, palm strike here, low one, and stomp kick. Splitting block on the centre, bond sow. I step over with a tan and a low palm strike. Splitting block on the centre. I roll. This is on the centre, this is on the central. I step forward for the high palm strike and over for the arm break. Okay, that's a fair bit of detail. That should get you started. Thank you.